On the day I decide to quit the game, multiple comments suddenly streak across my vision. Great news! The female supporting lead is finally quitting the game. Stacy no longer has to worry about getting exposed for using the supporting lead's game account to get into online relationships with others. Stacy is really smart. Every time she uses the supporting lead's account, she always uses the in-game voice chat function. That supporting lead has no idea that Stacy has been doing this behind her back. Wow, Stacy really is blessed to have reeled in such amazing men. I can't believe she used the female supporting lead's max level account to flirt with 5 of the best players on the server. At 2 p.m. later, she'll be meeting her first target, Louis Jonas, the cold and aloof campus heartthrob at Rich Cafe. Tomorrow, Stacy will be meeting the best assassin in person. The day after that, she'll meet the rich scion who's also ranked second on the list. She really is amazing with her time management skills. The Stacy that the comments mention is Stacy White, my roommate. She actually impersonated me to flirt with 5 top-tier players on the server, huh? More comments streak across my vision once again. Why isn't Heather leaving right now? Louis is already waiting for Stacy. This is their first sweet date as a couple. Oh gosh, I can't wait to see it unfold. I turn to look at Stacy, who's touching up her makeup in front of the vanity mirror. Only then do I understand that I'm the female supporting lead the comments are talking about. A small smile appears on my face. Since Stacy is impersonating me to become a Casanova, then it's not wrong of me to attend those meetings and reap the reverse harem she has prepared for me, right? My in-game ID in Galaxy Rim was Moonwalker, and I was the top paying mage on the entire server. Half a month ago, my alien brand computer had been sent in for repairs, so I had borrowed Stacy's cheap laptop once. I never expected her to secretly save my password. Not only did she steal my account, but she also secretly saved my aesthetic social media photos that were only visible for 3 days, used them to present herself as a rich and beautiful girl, and started flirting with multiple players in the game at once. Stacy stood in front of the mirror lightly applying her lipstick. What she was wearing was even my white designer dress that was still hanging in the closet with the tags untouched. Heather, I've got an interview this afternoon. I'll borrow your dress, she said, turning around with an innocent smile. I looked at her coldly with a faint mocking smile. Sure, good luck with your interview. After Stacy left, I immediately opened my closet. An interview, I bet she was going to meet my in-game romance. I chose a highly alluring fitted red velvet spaghetti strap dress and applied bold, striking makeup. In the mirror, my red lips curved slightly. I looked stunning, confident, and unapologetically bold. Since Stacy liked pretending to be me in online relationships, I decided to beat her to it. At 1:30 p.m., I arrived at the Rich Cafe near the school 30 minutes early. I immediately noticed Louis Jonas sitting by the window. He was the school's famously cold law department heartthrob and the top swordsman in the game. At that moment, he was looking at his phone with a rare hint of anticipation in his eyes. I walked toward him confidently in my 4-inch heels and sat down across from him. A light rose scent lingered in the air. Louis frowned slightly and looked up out of instinct. The instant he saw my face, he froze in place. Holy crap, why is Heather here already? Wasn't she supposed to be in the dorm resetting her account? Why did the plot change? Oh my god, Heather's outfit is insane. She looks exactly like the rich, glamorous girl in the photos. I rested my chin on one hand and looked at him with a faint smile. Have you been waiting long? Louis's ears turned red at once. He sat up a bit straighter, though a trace of nervousness still showed in his voice. You're a moonwalker? Your voice sounds different from the game. Comments continued to scroll past. She slipped up. Our main girl chats with top players all the time. Of course, he can tell voices apart. I gave a soft laugh. I use a voice changer in the game. Then I casually mentioned details that only the 2 of us would know. During last week's cross-server battle, you took 3 ultimate spells from the opposing mage just to save me. I still haven't repaired that epic tier longsword that dropped. Louis's eyes lit up immediately. His usual cold, aloof expression vanished, replaced by genuine surprise and excitement. It really is you. You look even better than your photos, easily 100 times better. The comments erupted in outrage. Holy crap, Heather really has no shame. Everyone, calm down. Stacy will be here in 5 seconds. At that moment, the cafe door opened. Stacy ran in soaked in sweat, still wearing my ill-fitting white dress. Stacy immediately saw me sitting across from Louis. The smile on her face froze in an instant. Her pupils widened abruptly as if she had seen a ghost. Heather? Without even looking at her, I lifted my iced latte and took a slow sip. Louis frowned and looked at Stacy with displeasure. You know her? I casually stirred the ice in my cup. She is my roommate, Stacy White. Stacy bit down hard on her lower lip. Panic and jealousy flashed in her eyes. She glanced at Louis's strikingly attractive face, then back at me. In the end, greed overpowered her fear. She took a deep breath, then boldly pulled out a chair and sat right next to us. Louis, what a coincidence, she said, adopting a pitiful, fragile look. In fact, I was the one who invited you here today. She reached out, trying to grab Louis's hand on the table. Heather just happened to pass by. She doesn't even play this game at all. Louis jerked his hand back as if he had been shocked, and a flash of disgust crossed his eyes. He turned to look at me in confusion. I gave a soft laugh, resting my chin on my hand as I watched Stacy. Oh, you were the one who set this up? Then why don't you tell us which dungeon we cleared together last night? Stacy stiffened immediately. She had logged into my account, but she had been busy chatting the whole time and had no idea what went on in the game. After a long silence, she failed to respond at all. I was too tired last night to remember, she said. She looked away, attempting to recover what little composure she had left. Louis, don't listen to her. She's never even seen what a max-level account looks like. My smile carried a hint of sarcasm. Since you're so confident, let's talk about mechanics. I turned to Louis and said in a composed, matter-of-fact tone, after the recent update, the mage skill Frost World had its cast animation reduced by half a second. To prevent it from being interrupted in cross-server PvP, should the third row go for rapid cooldown or Frost Shield? Louis's eyes lit up at once. This was the kind of edge case knowledge that only top players would care about. He turned to Stacy, studying her closely. Stacy, since you're a moonwalker, what's your take? Stacy was completely stunned. She usually only used my account to act cute in safe zones and collect gifts. She couldn't even recognize all the hotkeys, let alone understand cast animations or talent trees. I think, she stammered, nervously tugging at the ill-fitting white designer dress. I think Frost Shield would be better. It helps with survival. She offered the answer as if it were reasonable, hoping it would sound convincing. Louis's expression cooled instantly. I laughed sharply without holding back. That's a trash talent only low-level beginners would choose. You don't even understand basic class mechanics and you still dare to impersonate the #1 mage on the server? Each word hit Stacy like a slap across the face. Louis immediately followed up with a clear and decisive dismissal. Please leave. My girlfriend and I have private matters to discuss and we would prefer not to be disturbed by outsiders. Stacy's face turned a deep reddish purple. Her disguise had been completely torn away in public, and she had to watch the main target she had worked so hard for fall straight into my hands. A wave of humiliation and unwillingness overwhelmed her. She could not keep it together any longer. Covering her face, she rushed out of the cafe like a defeated stray. Damn, that was such a clean and precise takedown from Heather. Stacy is totally clueless. She can't even answer a single question. LMAO, she doesn't even know what rapid cooldown is and still tries to pass herself off as the top mage. It is over. Heather has already secured the main target. Poor Stacy is likely crying right now. She isn't going to let this slide. I watched the flood of comments scrolling rapidly across the screen and calmly finished the last sip of my iced latte. If she refused to let this go, that suited me just fine. This was only the first catch. The real show had just begun.